Hi, my name is Jack Wallen, and I'm here again to give you some advice for you, the artist, but not just artists, artists of any kind, and humans of any kind. I believe that creativity is a muscle, and if you don't exercise that muscle, it's going to atrophy. And the last thing an artist wants is to see, feel, or think that their creativity is withering away. That would spell doom. So what can you do? How can you keep your creativity from shrinking, that muscle, that glorious, wonderful muscle? I have 5 tips that could help you, help quite a bit actually. And they're not hard. And they most generally won't cost you a thing, although one of them could. We'll see. The first one is very simple. Daydream. But don't just daydream, daydream big. And daydream all the time. For example, when I woke up this morning, I daydreamed this. You might hear me say something that I thought of when I first woke up in a daydream. I daydream all the time. I cannot tell you how many times that I have daydreamed myself playing the role of Sweeney Todd. Oh yeah, I daydream big. I daydream plots. I daydream characters. I daydream interaction with characters. I daydream scenes from plays. I daydream just about anything. I daydream big. I daydream small. I daydream about every size in between those two. And I completely, absolutely, and wholeheartedly believe that by daydreaming, you exercise your creativity. I have had so many instances where I have written myself into a corner in a book. I step away from it and then I start daydreaming. And during those daydreams, I come up with the thing that helps me get out of that corner. And it is a glorious thing. And it doesn't take that much and it's not that hard. And you can daydream anywhere. Now, I will say this, if you're in a very important conversation with a loved one or at your work or whatever, and you start daydreaming, you might miss something. And if someone calls on you and asks you about that thing, you may go, huh, what? I don't know. I was daydreaming. Do it. Trust me on this. Daydream big and daydream all the time. Now here is another tip, one that I have taught in almost every class that I teach, whether it be acting, writing, whatever. I think this tip is truly important for you. What it is stream of consciousness. And how do you do it is pretty simple. Either set a timer or find a piece of music that's 5 to 10 minutes long. It needs to be longer. Yeah, I'm setting you up for that. Now, also get a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. Do not do this on a computer, a tablet, or phone. You need that physical analog sensation of writing these words down. It actually matters. Hit start on that timer or hit start on that song, put your pen to paper and start writing, and do not stop. Do not pause for anything. Just let the words come out. They may not make any sense at all. And you may think while you're doing this, oh my gosh, what in the world is going on here? I don't know. I don't know what's coming out of my mind. I think I'm going crazy. It doesn't matter. Just let the words flow and never stop. And when that timer dings or that song ends, put your pen down and read what you did. What you might find within that storm of chaos on the paper is some real golden nuggets that you could actually use in your books, or it might inspire something in the play that you're doing, or the TV script that you're writing, or the paint you're working on, or the sculpture that you're doing, or the dance, or whatever. But don't actively look for some golden nugget in there. Because the important thing is just letting the floodgates open and allowing the words to spill out onto the page. Not stopping yourself, not thinking. Because sometimes when an artist thinks, their thoughts get in the way of their creativity. If you let go of that and just start writing, you're going to exercise that part of you in such a way that the creativity is just going to be unleashed. And it may not show directly on the page, But the more you do stream of consciousness, the more ready your creativity will be. You can tap into it faster without thinking. It just happens. It's great. So do the stream of consciousness. If you can, do it every day. I know, sounds a little crazy, but if you have the time, which you do, I mean, who doesn't have 5 or 10 minutes out of their day to write a stream of consciousness on a piece of paper? Keep a notebook of it, actually. Buy a notebook or find one laying around and use that notebook for your stream of consciousness and date them, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the next thing, this is the one that could require a bit of money. Doesn't have to. But what I always tell people is to study something. One of the first pieces of advice I always give to new writers is to study improv. But it doesn't have to be limited to improv. And also, you could study something that is completely opposite of what you're doing. Right? Study science, study math, study something that's going to exercise your brain in a very different way. One thing I like to do is if I'm doing some research for a book, because I'm always doing research for a book, is I allow myself to go down those rabbit holes. I'll be studying something or researching something, and that something will lead to something else, and that something else will lead to something else yet again. And I just keep diving down until I've hit rock bottom. That's not the right way to say that, till I've hit bottom. Just keep studying, because the more you learn, the more you're going to know, and the more you know, the more things you're going to have at your disposal. The more information. As an artist, just gobble it up. From 360 degrees, everything. Just be a sponge and soak up all that information. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing is to practice a different art form, right? If you're a writer, study acting or improv. If you're an actor, study dance or voice. If you're a painter, study writing. All of this cross-pollination actually has a positive effect on you and will allow you to dip into even deeper trenches of your creativity and use different tools with which to create. As an actor, if you study dance, you're going to be able to move more freely on stage, or you'll be able to command your gestures even more. Your body will just be more regal, or you'll be able to use it to your advantage. You'll be able to create new postures and characters, and it's limitless what you can do when you start studying different forms of art, and how it gives you something new to hold on to and informs your process. I cannot speak highly enough of studying different art forms to help expand your creativity. Now, the next one's a little bit weird, but it works. I promise you. I promise you this works. I have given this tip to so many writers and actors, and they use it and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And it's really simple. What you'll need is a song, but not just any song. The song needs to have a really good bass line. Think Rush, think Yes, think Primus, think Jaco Pastorius. Think the greats. Find that song and get a pair of headphones. That's important. Don't just listen to it from your phone or whatever. Headphones. Put that song on, and as you're listening to it, don't focus on the voice. Don't focus on the guitar. Don't focus on the drums. Focus on the bass. Because your brain, your ears, aren't accustomed to focusing on the bass line. They're accustomed to focusing and listening on the lyrics and the melody and the guitar. And they're used to feeling the bass and the drums. What we're going to do is shift it and make your brain and your ears think and hear differently. And in the process of doing that, your creativity is going to be sparked. And it's just this weird kind of thing that happens. But when you get done with that song, you're going to feel like you can think of and create just about anything. It is a strange little phenomenon that I happened onto one day. I was actually listening to, I can't remember the name of the song, but it was from the band Nothing More. And it had a really interesting bass line at one section. And I just kept listening to it over and over again, and I was focusing on that bass line. And when I pulled away from the song, I just felt like my creative neurons were just firing on all cylinders. And it was magic. And I've used it many, many times in many different songs. And I have kind of, over the years, I've become accustomed now to when I need a kind of a boost of creativity, I put on a song, I focus on the bass line, and I walk away, and I am ready. I know it sounds weird, like I said, but it works. And there you have it. 5 different ways you can energize and expand and exercise your creativity. Remember, creativity is a muscle, just like your heart, your mind, your biceps, your legs. And it needs to be exercised, because if you don't use it, you lose it. And as an artist, the last thing you want to lose is your creativity. Anyway, I hope that I have helped you some way, helped you learn something, inspired you, or helped you through a problem that you're having with your art. If I have, maybe you might know someone else that could use this little lesson, and share it with them. And if you enjoyed what you've seen and heard, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. Don't worry, I'm not trying to make money off this. I'm really just trying to help, because I have been helped over the years. And I believe that sharing is caring. And I have made it a point over the past 5-10 years to make kindness my default. And this is part of my kindness, is giving back to you. Thank you very much for giving me the time to listen to this, and I hope you have a most wonderful and creative